Grant, Kimberley. Talk a little bit about soil conditions today and kind of your planting plans, progress thus far, and where you see it going for the rest of the spring.
Yeah, we probably have about 15 to 20% of our soybeans planted. We got just a little bit done last week before the rain set in, but really yesterday afternoon was the first that we really got started again. And so we're going to hopefully be able to hit it hard the next few days before the next system comes in this weekend. Conditions aren't too bad, but they're just barely good enough. As you can see earlier this morning, we're still picking up some on some of our wheels on the planter, so it's still, while it's dry on the top, it's still a little damp, a little soft underneath, and so hopefully you get another good drying day like today. That'll make a big difference a little bit later.
What are some of your, you mentioned earlier, you're planting more corn, about 2/3 corn, 1/3 beans this year. What are some of your big bean concerns in terms of disease and pest problems you might see later on in the season? How are you addressing those right now?
For us, the last few years anyway, our big concerns have always been soybean cyst nematode. For many years, that's always been a concern. And then iron chlorosis is a little bit of an issue in a few fields, and sun death syndrome was really bad last year. It's the worst I've ever seen it, and it probably affected a third of our soybean farms last year, and so it certainly had an impact.
Yeah. And what kind of tools are you using this year? Are there any technology tools or anything that can help you kind of hedge against that, be it seed or how you plant or anything like that?
The best thing that I think we can do is select varieties that have resistance to cyst nematode and iron chlorosis and sun death syndrome. But the other thing that we've done, and that's partly why we're running 2/3 corn, is we're rotating out of soybeans for a few years on some of our trouble farms or fields that tend to have more of these issues on soybeans, and then we're going to bring them back into soybeans after that. So if we go a few years of corn, we tend to be able to come back to soybeans later, and then the yield increases are pretty dramatic, at least for us.
All right, we've wasted enough of your time,
right.
so get back in that thing and go.
Sounds good. Yeah.